we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome Matt Fitzpatrick to the interview room here at the WGC Dell Technologies Match Play. Matt, this is your fifth appearance here at Austin Country Club in this event, and then you're also entering the week. 4 consecutive top 10 finishes, including a T9 at the Players Championship. Matt, just wanted to get a few opening comments from you on just your recent form, how it's been going, and maybe how your game fits this golf course under obviously a very different format.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the week. I've not really had too much success here, unfortunately. It's a strange golf course. The front nine's very different to the back nine, and it can get windy here, so it can be quite tough. So. It's going to be an interesting week. I feel like I've been playing well recently, so hopefully just bring it to this course and improve on previous year's finishes.
Sounds good. All right, well, we'll go ahead and just go right into questions. We'll start with Ben Averill with PGAtour.com. Go ahead, Ben.
Thanks, mate. Fitz, it's come to our attention that you collect your own stats pretty extensively and create your own sort of shot dispersion, etc. Can you run us through that process and what made you think to do it, and maybe where you got the idea from?
I've been doing my stats for a long time. Over the lockdown in the UK back in March last year, I switched over to Edoardo Molinari, who you probably know because he plays on the European Tour full time as well. So he's a very busy man, and he created his own program, if you will, that does anything you want to record. He can fit it in. He's a genius basically, and one of that was tracking dispersion. So we know what my strokes gained to my target is, rather than just strokes gained to the pin. Obviously, if you're aiming 4 or 5 yards left or right each time, but you're pulling it to 2 yards left of the flag, there's a 6-yard difference there, and on your aim. So it might look good on your strokes gained approach, but actually to your target, you're still 6 yards away. So it just made it obviously more specific to myself, seeing my own patterns, and just helps me sort of take on different golf courses and plot my way around a bit better.
It wasn't as long ago as like Pat Goss, obviously, with the economics major and whatnot, Northwestern. It was more recent.
No. I mean, the dispersion stuff, March. I've thought about that for a long time, just never had the ability to do it with the program I've used before, but I've done my stats since I was 14, effectively, on different programs, so it's not a new thing.
And it works for you, obviously, mate. Yeah, you're seeing the results?
Yeah, so far so good, yeah.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks, Ben. Next we'll go to Shane Ryan, Golf Digest.
Hey, Matt. Question about what makes match play golf unique. You've had a pretty long experience at this point in your career. You've beat some good opponents, but I'm more curious about 2 guys who have beaten you, Patrick Reed and Rory McIlroy, and whether the experience of playing those guys and seeing what they do uniquely in match play has taught you anything about the format.
Not particularly. I've only ever played the match play at this golf course. As I said, I feel like it's quite a funky place to play. I don't really know what it suits in particular, what part of the game, but I feel like when I played those guys, I was a different player to what I am now and last year and the year before. So there's obviously a little bit of that in there, but it's match plays. At the end of the day, you can shoot 2 over and win every game all the way to the final. That's just the way it is. And someone can shoot 4 or 5 under and lose. It is that game. So you just got to sort of, in my opinion, it's just about beating the guy in front of you. And if they're making a bogey, you just make a par. If they make a double, you just make a bogey. You just do enough to get by effectively and get yourself over the finish line.
So beyond those tactics, there's nothing psychologically that you would do different concerning your opponent when it comes to the match play format?
Not from the outset, no. Obviously, if you're a few down and you need to be a bit more aggressive, then you're going to start firing at pins, try and make birdies to make up the difference. But particularly if you're coasting and you're well up going into the back nine or whatever it is, then you just try and make life difficult for them, fairways, greens, and just sort of try and eat away the holes, really.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks, Shane. Next we'll go to Rex Hoggard, Golf Channel.
Matt, you sort of talked about your history at this event, but when you look at the sort of the pool play version of, I'm sure every tour pro just wants to go 3-0 and not even thinking about losing, but statistically, I mean, less than half of the guys who have advanced have at least one loss or a tie. Has your thinking on pool play sort of evolved since 2015 when this event first started using the format?
Yeah, I would say so. I was been speaking to a lot of guys this week about it, and I've got like mixed views on it. I think it's great for the fans that you can have this group stage. Obviously, Justin Thomas loses to someone that's well outside the rankings. He goes home on day one, and it's not great for TV. It's not great for people at home, and but obviously, he could lose his first game and go through and win the whole tournament, and I think that's great for the TV, and I think it's great for the fans that want to come and watch the event. I think that's fantastic and part of it. But I think in terms of the players, I think there's a lot of guys that kind of just want to do straight knockout and just get on with it, and if you lose, you lose, and you win, you're on to the next one. But for me, either way really works for me. I don't really have a preference. I quite like being able to lose the first round and sort of have a chance at redemption the next 2 days, obviously. But guys who win the first round probably think the opposite. So it doesn't really bother me too much.
I mean, my guess is you played just straight knockout predominantly growing up. Would you rather it be just that?
I don't really have a preference, to be honest, Rex. It really doesn't bother me. I think getting to play 3 matches is kind of fun. At least you get to play in a bit more match play in general anyway. So I wouldn't say I have a preference.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Rex. Next we'll go to Sean Martin, PGAtour.com. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanks, Matt. Just curious, what was the biggest surprise or biggest takeaway from the stats? What did they show you that maybe surprised you?
Nothing massively surprising, I guess. I don't know. I think because I've done it for such a long time now, it's kind of, there's nothing, everything's kind of the same. The weaknesses are kind of the same. They don't really vary too much. And it's more about just chipping away at them and just making small gains. As I'm not just going to all of a sudden go from 0.2 approach to 1 full shot average around it. That's out of this world improvement. So I wouldn't say there's anything that stood out in particular.
Okay. Is there, working with Eduardo, I guess, how is it? Can you illustrate how it's maybe changed things or helped things?
Yeah, it's helped me massively because the stuff that we're recording is very specific to me. It's very specific to all sorts of things. I mean, you name it, and we're probably recording it, and we're probably keeping track of it. Wind direction, wind strength, grass type for greens, speed of greens, and Eduardo's got it in his system. So, in a few years' time, hopefully, when we've got all this data, you can really sort of dive into it. Right now, for example, we might only have, I don't know this for a fact, but 20 shots on a downwind right to left. So that's not really a big sample size, obviously. You can't really look too much into it, but I feel like we've got a lot of good stuff from last year, and obviously good stuff from the start of this year, and we're always looking to see where my game's at and where we can make improvements.
So was the biggest impact on how you allocate your practice time?
That is a big, that's a big thing. that's a big thing. I'm a big believer in sort of having good structured practice when I'm at home and off weeks, and even here at tournament weeks. There's no point if you're the world's best iron player but you don't know it and you're just spending all day hitting irons. There's no real point in that when you need to improve your putting. So it's I think that's helped plenty as well to sort of structure the practice better.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll just do a couple more here. Ian Carter, BBC.
Hi, Matt.
All right, Ian.
I just wonder if you could offer us a few thoughts on your opponent tomorrow in Jordan Spieth. It strikes me that both of you have not been strangers to leaderboards in recent weeks, and obviously he's a Texan in Texas.
Yeah. Although I'm supposedly the highest seed, I feel a bit of the underdog in this one tomorrow. But he's played here plenty. He knows this course pretty well, I think, from his college days, and obviously he's going to have that home support, which is it certainly helps. And he's a good player, regardless. He's obviously, we've seen the last few weeks he's playing. His game is where he wants it, and I saw a quote from him. He says he's never been so confident in his, and since his great run of form a few years ago, which is a big statement to make, and I'm sure he believes it because he does have a great mentality, and it's going to be an interesting game, and I'm looking forward to it.
Presumably, it's the sort of match that you'd really relish, though.
Yeah, definitely. It's, for me, you want to play against the best guys. You want to play against the guys that've been there and done it, and continue to do so, and continue to compete, and hopefully I can go out there and sort of we can have a really good game and see where it takes us. But you want to play guys like Jordan Spieth.
Resta. Thanks, Matt. Good luck this week.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Ian. We're going to wrap with Phil Casey, PA Media UK. Go ahead, Phil.
Thanks. Hi, Matt.
All right, Phil.
Yeah, good, thanks. Just a quick question. I noticed you posted a picture yesterday of yourself and Bryson. Nice, fun picture. Just wondering, how do you get along with him? I know you had some comments when you spoke to us at Wentworth last year about his game, but how do you two get along?
We hate each other. Yeah, it's a really nasty thing that between us. No, it's fine. Listen, we spoke a few times since the whole thing anyway, and I made my comments, and that was my opinion at the time. I think they were definitely taken out of context, and there's no doubt about that. And we talked about it since. We talked about it yesterday, and there's no problems between us. It's obviously just a bit of a media thing that the kind of people want it to turn into something, but I wouldn't fancy my chances in a fight anyway. So
absolutely. I mean, he said at the time he took your comments as a compliment anyway, so there was never really any bad feeling between the pair of you.
No, not at all, and that was my whole post yesterday, because he said that I'd be happy to help. So I asked for some tips. So there you go.
What were the tips? How many protein shakes has he got you on?
No. We just talked. I was just asking him about his clubs and his speed training and stuff. And I've been doing something similar and looking into it anyway before my comments that I made last year. So it's nothing too new to me. It's just quite interesting just to hear his thoughts and how he's going about things to improve his swing speed and get longer.
So have you been hitting the gym, bulking up? I mean, you don't look as if you've been piling on the pounds.
Not yet. I need to wait for the off season or another lockdown, I think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's not going to happen.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Best of luck this week. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
Matt, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck this week.
Thanks, guys.